Hello all of you. My name is Gaurav Khan Shankadhar. I am going to take up cascading style sheets today. So as far as introduction of CSS is concerned, cascading style sheet is used to design HTML pages. For example, suppose there is a page in which you want to provide the background color to be lime of the body tag, then you have to place it like this, body and within curly braces and the stuff regarding background color lime. Then you can also perform the same or different designing in the paragraph p tag. Okay, so this is as you can see, the hello world written over here is having in its background a yellow color, and so the style is applied. Now when you have to provide the cascading style sheets, then what you do is in the heads tag you either link the style sheet already designed as a .css file, suppose style1.css, and then you can provide the title, and then you can link the file by providing the link tag and the rel to be the alternate style sheet, or to be the style sheet to tell the document object model that you're going to link a style sheet. In the types you have to specify text CSS, and the href you have to provide the file path of the CSS file. If in case your file cannot be joined, then it can be, it will represent the alternate text as to what you have to write in case your file is not attached. Okay, and we also have some styles in the view section of our browser. For example, in this case it is Mozilla. So here we can also style by using use style, basic page style, style 1 and style 2. Then styled HTML document might look like this also, and it is produced by the style sheet.2.css. And what is the CSS syntax? Our CSS syntax comprises of the tag, that is the selector string, the declaration block, all the declarations, and the property names. In this case the selector string is p, that is paragraph. Okay, and then font size is the property name, then the declaration is x large or yellow, and the declaration block is background color. So what it is doing the declaration block is in fact the whole section comprising the paragraph designing portion. So here we are specifying the paragraph to be having the font size of x large and the background color to be yellow. Now what are the selector strings? Single element type, that is suppose there is a font size smaller, letter spacing. Then h1, if you have to provide for all headings, suppose we want to provide the background color to be purple, then what we can do is we can write h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, h6, and within curly braces we'll provide the style background color purple. So this will give the purple color to each and every heading inside your HTML tag, inside your HTML document. Okay, and if you want to provide suppose for all paragraphs specified by p1 and p3, then we can do that by providing a hash and then the paragraph ID, and then we can provide that the background color to be aqua. Okay, so what we have done over here is you can see this paragraph has its background color aqua, and then its ID is p3 over here. And in the previous slide I showed you that p1 and p3 will hold background color to be aqua. Okay, so is the case with span also. Here we have specified some class for it, and dot special. In the special case it will be font size x large. Then there can be anchor elements like source anchor elements. Suppose A is the anchor tag, and link, that is the normal link, will be displayed by the color black. If the link is visited, it will be shown yellow. If we hover upon a link, then the text is converted to green color, and if an anchor tag becomes active, then the link color will be red. Okay. We can also provide for unordered list, ordered list, and list item to be letter spacing of 1 EM. Okay. Now, how is style sheet related to HTML? Style sheets referenced by link HTML element are called external style sheets. Okay, we can have our style sheets within the HTML code, or we can import it from some outside file with the help of external style sheets. And style sheets can be embedded directly in HTML documents using style element. Suppose here we are having head tag, then title tag, then style type is equal to text CSS, and h1 h2 having background color aqua, and style, and this is the style definition given over here. Okay. Style sheets in HTML, rule of thumb is use external style sheet to define site wide style. If you want to provide styling to the whole of your document as taken together, okay, broadly, then you can specify the external style sheets. Okay, and prefer style sheets either external or embedded to style attributes. Then XML special characters must use references in embedded style sheets, and style attribute must not use references in external style sheets. Now, what is CSS rule cascade? Actually, CSS rule cascade is, suppose you are providing a style by external style sheet, and you are not providing any local style sheet or embedded style sheet, or any style sheet given within a particular tags in HTML code, then what will happen is whatever you will be providing in the external style sheet will be rendered on the HTML page. But if you are also providing style local to some element, then that will take preference. To find the value of an element property combination, user agents must apply the following sorting order. Find all declarations that apply to the element and property in question for the target media type. Declarations apply if the associated selector matches the element in question. The primary sort of the declarations is by weight and origin. For normal declarations, author style sheets override user style sheets, which override the default style sheet. For important declarations, user style sheets override author style sheets, which override the default style sheet. Important declaration override normal declarations. An imported style sheet has the same origin as the style sheet that imported it. The secondary sort is by specificity of selector. More specific selectors will override more general ones. Pseudo elements and pseudo classes are counted as normal elements and classes respectively. And finally, sort by order specified. If two rules have the same weight, origin and specificity, the later specified wins. Okay. Rules in imported style sheets are considered to be before any rules in the style sheet itself. Now, what is CSS inheritance? What if no style declaration applies to a property of an element? Suppose there is no style declaration that is defined to any element, then what will happen? Generally, the property value is inherited from the nearest ancestor element that has a value for that property. Suppose there is a cell and outside of a table, and inside it is a text box, then if there is no property element associated with the text box inside the cell, then all the properties of the cell for the designing of that particular section will be also given to the or inherited by the text box. Suppose like we have a body, and for body we have font weight bold, and li font style italic, and P font size larger, and span font weight normal. In that case, what will happen is, as you can see over here, list item outside and inside a span, it is showing to be of the same design. Now, CSS inheritance property values. in CSS inheritance, specified means value contained in declaration. Absolute is the value that can be determined without the context. And for example, 2 centimeter, it's not relative. You have to specify exactly how much length or width in centimeters a particular control can be having as its size in length or width. Then it can be computed as well, that is absolute representation of relative value, and it can be actual, that is value actually used by the browser. Most properties inherit computed value. For example, exception discussed later, that line height. A little thought can usually tell you whether, well, as you can see, the CSS font properties shown in the preference dialog box are serif, sans serif, cursive, fantasy and monospace. So we can have a combination of these selected as CSS font properties. Now note that the most generic font can be easily set on Firefox and Chrome, but such option doesn't seem to be available in IE 7 and 8. I will still default to something, although maybe not what you have hoped for. Okay, so it is better for us to try our HTML pages on Firefox and Chrome. It can also be done on IE 7, but there can be some minor changes in the display as far as different versions and companies of browsers are concerned. Now, what are the CSS font properties? As you can see in this table, like the unit can be in IN, that is inches, cm, that is centimeters, millimeters, points. A point is 1 by 72 of an inch. Then PC, that is 12 points, and px will be pixel, typically 1 by 96 inch. Then EM, and then EX. Now what exactly all these mean, it will be clear to you by looking at this diagram, that the baseline is as shown in this for a particular character. The baseline is from which the bottom line of the character, and then the cell bottom will be the cell in which it is displayed, its bottom line. And then there will be EM height. EM height will be the height of the capital letter, and then it's there will be this particular baseline. Then X height will be EX height will be the height of the character, and the cell height will be the height of the cell in which this character is displayed. Now reference font defines EM and X units. Normally, reference font is the font of the element being styled. Exception, using M and X to specify value for font size. If you will specify a font size in EM and XM, it might throw an exception. Okay. Now CSS font properties also have some other ways to specify value for font size. Like you can use percentage. This percentage will be the size of the font in percentage, and it will be absolute. There can be absolute size as well, which can have X as small, X as small. These are enumerations predefined in HTML. X is small, then medium, small, large, X large, and XX large. Now user agent specific should differ by till 20%. Okay. Now relative size, that is keyword, smaller, larger, can also be used. Okay, these are some property values. For example, font style can be normal, italic, or oblique. Font weight can be bold or normal. Font variant can be small caps, normal. Now, whenever text is rendered on HTML, then it follows this particular alignment. Like if you are going to print, this is sure fun in 2 lines. Okay, then these will be divided in line boxes height. This will be the height. Initial value, that is normal, that is cell height. Relationship with EM height is font specific. Okay, other values following are equivalent, like line height maybe 1.5 EM, line height maybe 150%, and line height can be 1.5. Okay. When line height is greater than cell height, if the line height is greater than cell height, then this is the line height, and this is half leading text cell height, okay, and half leading. So this will be displayed in the middle, okay. It will be equidistant from the top and bottom margin. Now font shortcut properties can also be given, like if you want to give the whole thing as a separate Excel block or CSS block, then what will you do? Then we will provide font style italic, font variant normal, font weight bold, font size 12 pt and line height normal, font family Helvetica and sans serif. You can do all this in one single line, that is font italic, bold 12 pt, Helvetica, sans serif. Okay, it will definitely save your keystrokes. Now this is regarding that shortcut for specifying the font. Then CSS text formatting can be done with the help of these particular properties and their subsequent values, like text decoration none, or it can be underline, or it can be overline, line through, okay, or space separated list of values other than none. Then letter spacing can be provided by this particular property, like normal or whatever you want to put. Then word spacing can be normal. Text transform, this can be none, capitalize, uppercase and lowercase. Then text indent, okay, then text align, it will be left, right, center, justified. Then white space, maybe normal. Okay, so this is a description of regarding the CSS text formatting in HTML. In short, CSS, that is cascading style sheet, can be embedded with the help of some external CSS file, or it can be put inside the element. For example, in paragraph or a text box of whatever element or whatever HTML element you have, it can provide it with CSS. CSS helps in designing. In this paper, we are having three main concerns. Like first of all, we have already known what Java is. Then JavaScript and CSS provide for better user interface. Then HTML is used to render these things in order to make a web page. Then there will be JSP, as we will be taking up our next few lectures. Then JSP is used for coding on the server side. Okay, but CSS, JavaScript and Java, for the time being, you must know that it is used for client side scripting. Thank you very much. Hello everybody, this video is in connection with the earlier video on cascading style sheet. In this video we are going to extend our experience of the cascading style sheet by considering how the text color can be applied to various elements in the HTML. Okay, font color is specified by color property. You have to specify the font color with the help of the color property. Two primary ways of specifying colors is, first of all, you can use the color name like black, gray, silver, white or whatever, and then you can also have the full list of all the colors that can be supported by the HTML CSS that is given in this link, w3.org trsvg11 types.html. Then you can also provide the RGB values of the various colors for a particular element. Then how can you have these red, green, blue values? Everybody is familiar with this edit colors dialog box. You are having red, green and blue specified as text boxes. Over here you can find whatever color you want for a particular element, and then by getting the various red, green and blue values, you can specify the RGB value for the element. Then various text CSS text color alternative formats for specifying numeric color values. Either you can provide the RGB, suppose format is functional integer arguments, that is red, green, blue, 255, 170, 0. So here you are providing red to be 255. Then the maximum value is 255. It starts from 0 and goes up to 155 for each of these. Then you are providing the green to be 170 and blue to be 0. Okay, you are giving the arguments as RGB values. Then what you can do, you can also provide them as percentage, like RGB in the 100%, 66.7%, and 0% will do the same. Okay. Then hexadecimal values can also be provided. For example, hash FFAA00, and abbreviated hexadecimal can also be provided. For example, hash FA0. Okay, you don't need to type it again 2 times. You have to simply provide it once. Then, what is the CSS box model? A CSS box model is a reduced element occupies whatever a rendered element in HTML is. It occupies a box. Okay. Suppose there is the written over here. Then what are the what's the whole anatomy of this particular text? First of all, this is the content area. Then this is the content edge. Okay, this enclosing rectangle. This is the padding area, and this is the padding edge, and this is the border area. Okay, this is the padding edge, the inner border, and then the border area. Then it is having the border edge, then the margin area, and then finally the margin edge. Okay, you should be very much familiar with these concepts, because whenever you have to provide designing, then you must know what exactly you are going to do and what you mean by margin edge and border edge. Okay, you can provide various styles on these different elements. Now, the CSS box model, as you can see over here, what it is having: the margin top, border top, margin, padding type, padding top, and then padding left, padding right. You should be very much clear with what padding is. Okay, the content is enclosed within the padding areas, and the padding is the distance between, or the area lying between, the border and the text cell itself, the text itself. Okay, you can specify the margin: right margin, left margin, top margin, and bottom margin. Now, how can you provide all this thing in a span? Okay, well, a span is just like a division. It specifies a particular area inside a HTML document. So what will you do with this span? First of all, with the opening curly brace, you are providing the margin left to be 1 centimeter. Okay, border left width to be 10 pixel, border left color to be silver. We can see that whatever properties we have dealt with in the previous diagram are all used inside this particular slide to specify the various settings. Okay, as you can see in this, the margin, the text is written over here. Okay, the margin left is 1 centimeter, means this area, and border left is this area. Then padding left. Okay, then CSS box model, the property, as you can see, we have already put in the HTML markup, that padding top right, bottom, and left is given CSS length. Okay, and as you can see, the number of values 1, 2, 3, and 4. That it means, for whenever we give one value, it means assign this value to all 4 associated properties, that is top, right, bottom, and left will contain all the same. If we are specifying 2 values, then top and bottom will get the same value, and the right and left will get the same value. If we are giving 3 values, then assign the first value to associated top property, second value to right and left, and the third value to bottom. And if we are specifying different 4 values for this thing, then we will have top, right, bottom, and left values to be different and individually set. Okay. Now here we can see that we can use the border width and top, right, bottom, and border color to be set by using the CSS. Now this is done. In fact, whatever we have studied till now in these slides have been put into an example over here. Like, we can provide the various border styles, as you can see over here, and background color of the cell, and the border style to be different in each case. Okay, here as you can see. If multiple declarations apply to a property, the last declaration overrides earlier specification. This has been explained to you in the previous lecture, that if multiple declaration apply to a property, if suppose you have more than one declaration that is to be that has been specified for a particular property, then only the last declaration whatever you are giving will override the earlier specifications. Okay, backgrounds, we have background color and background image. A background color, as you can see, we have already seen, and background image is image that is set for a particular cell, suppose, or for what table or table row, as you can see. So what is the background color? It specifies background color for content, padding and border areas. Margin area is always transparent and not inherited. This background color is not inherited and the initial value is transparent. And for the background image, specifies using URL function image that will be tiled over an element. As you can see, if we are providing a body with a style is equal to whatever we have to put inside a style of CSS, that has to be enclosed within style. Okay, and with style you have to put equal to sign and put all the CSS elements separated by a semicolon. Okay, here we have just provided a single CSS element, so we don't have to bother about putting a semicolon and putting other things. But here, as we can see, the style is equal to background image and the URL is cucumberflowerpot.png. So what will happen over here in the body tag, or whatever the area of the body is, the whole body will be having a background image specified. Then what is the normal flow layout? In normal flow processing, each displayed element has a corresponding box. HTML element box is called initial containing box and block and corresponds to entire document. Okay, and boxes of child elements are contained in boxes of parent. Sibling block elements are laid out one on top of the other. Now sibling inline elements are one after the other. Here we can assume to be the whole design can be shown with the help of the normal flow of a layout. Okay, there can be many layouts, but the most impressive one is the normal flow layout, in which what happens is, suppose first of all all the design is hierarchically distributed in the forms of layouts having rectangle blocks. Okay, now blocks and blocks within blocks. Okay, they can be text within blocks, they can be images within blocks, and other blocks as well as other blocks can also be enclosed within existing blocks. So this block structure is known as the normal flow layout. What we have studied till now in the design is the normal flow layout. As you can see in this diagram, it is quite evident that this particular is an element which is contained in this block, and this block is in turn contained in this block, and so the same thing happens over here also. Okay, so this block structure hierarchically formed is known as the normal flow layout. Now boxes corresponding to character cells and inline elements are laid out side by side in line boxes that are stacked on one top of the other. Okay, as you can see over here, this sum and this big. As your text becomes larger in size, the blocks auto grow. Now padding, borders, margins affect width but not height of inline boxes. Okay, you can change the width with the help of padding, borders and margins, but you cannot change the height of the inline boxes. Now as you can see over here, that specify a value for vertical align to position element within line box. This vertical align or v-align is the vertical alignment of a particular element with respect to its outer box, in which your parent box, as you can say, it is in which it is positioned. Okay, so with the help of vertical align, we can change the vertical alignment. Like it can be middle, as you can see over here. It can be text bottom or it can be text top. Okay. As you can see over here, the baseline is here. Now here the text bottom, it is minus 4 EM. Okay. Okay, so this was all related to the CSS colors and background properties. Thank you very much for listening to this video.